Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to make the card from page 13 in the current Stampin' Up catalog that's in the first basket right there. It's a little card one with the hearts, the thank you card with the hearts. So with the My Best Guess videos, I'm having fun trying to discover how things were possibly made. I know I don't always hit the mark, but I come close enough, I think. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab a half sheet, 8.5 by 5.5 Kraft cardstock. You probably have to cut it down from the 12 by 12. And my Memento tuxedo pad, tuxedo black. And you'll take your thank you. And I was going to stamp it onto the card, but then I realized I probably should make sure I put it in the right spot because I have some hearts going around this. So I decided I would go ahead and punch out the hearts first, and I believe this is the Sweetheart Punch. And I'm just grabbing some pattern paper, and all the supplies will be listed down below in the description box. And so I've got a couple pattern paper hearts and then a couple cardstock hearts, which you'll see that I will stamp later. And I might mention that was pretty sweet that I got the cards into my lid. So just want to mention that. No, I don't play sports, but I play paper crafts, just so you know. So anyway, just punching out a couple hearts, got a couple different patterns. And then I'm just going to use that as my measurement to make sure that I get the greeting in the right spot and don't make it too far on one side or the other. It just kind of helped me to make sure it wasn't too low or too high. So I'm going to put that back, or ink that back up, because sometimes that tends to dry when it's just sitting there. Just stamp that right onto the Kraft cardstock. And now we're going to start building the hearts. And you can put as many as you want on there. That's the beauty of the catalog. It gives you ideas. So you could use this as a kind of like a bouncing off point where it gives you an idea and you just kind of go from there and tweak it and make it your own. So I punched out a little vellum heart, but I didn't want to have to mess with it when I was trying to staple it. So I decided to put some fine tip glue pen there and hold that vellum heart in place. I just didn't want to fight with it, and I figured this would be a lot easier. And the staple inset in the heart is just for looks anyway. So while that was drying, I went ahead and got the Watermelon Wonder cardstock, the little heart there, and now I'm going to use the same color ink and stamp that with another greeting. I believe it's a little thanks. So I'm just going to stamp that all over that heart. Gives it a nice little background to it. And you'll notice when you're using those clear blocks, it does come in handy to be able to see down into the block and kind of get a good idea of where you're stamping. So we'll just cover that really quick and easy and move that off to the side. I did get a little bit on my mat, so I just took a wipe and cleaned that off so it wouldn't get anywhere that I didn't want it to go. Of course, it usually ends up on my fingers because I'm kind of a sloppy stamper anyway, as far as I usually have ink all over me. So I'm going to staple that because the heart's probably dry by now and have that done. And now with the mint macaron heart, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back to hold my silver cording, or my silver thread rather. So you see me grabbing that spool. I have to find the end of it somewhere on here. I finally find the end, so I'm just going to pull some of that off and stick that. Just one of the reasons I like doing this is you can be sloppy. It doesn't have to be this neat little bow or neat little knots or anything like that. You can just wad it up, gather it up, twist it, do whatever, and just slap it on the back of that heart. And you can't get much easier than that, really. It's not rocket science, but so I'm just putting that on there. I wanted to hide the little end there of the thread so it wouldn't stick out. I guess it really wouldn't matter whether it did or not, but I just decided I didn't want it to be. So now that that's on there, I'm going to staple it, but I found out my staples were out, so I decided to replace the staples, and as you can see, it's really easy. You just basically swing the bottom around and open it up, put the staples back in, and now you just swing that bottom back around, pinch the staple in there, and it goes back together really easily. So now I can staple my string. It's not really holding the string, it's just more of a design element than anything else. Once those two hearts are done it's time to work on the last little heart. Actually, not the last little heart. I did want to add I wanted to add some baker's twine, like they have in the catalog, of course. So this is some of the metallic baker's twine, just making a little loop. If you ever wondered how to do just the little, tie the little bows, all you do is just take 2 little loops, and then you just tie them in a knot, basically. So you see me twist it around, and then you send 1 loop through the hole, and that's pretty much it. And you can do that with string, you can do that with ribbon. Makes it super easy. I actually learned that from a quilter lots and lots of years ago when I was first a demonstrator. Can you believe it? Almost 19 years ago. Been demonstrator for almost 19 years now, and it's been awesome. So anyway, finishing off, I'm going to trim that baker's twine down to make short little ends, and this too, like the other hearts, is going to be stapled to this punch out. And that's really easy. Now what I could have done is just did the 2 loops and stapled those instead of tying them a knot, but again, I didn't want to have to fight with it to get it to sit just right and then staple it and hope it didn't like shift on me, so that's why I did that. But you could do whatever you're comfortable with. Beauty of paper crafting. Do what you want to do. So now let's work on the I believe this is Honey Dijon. I'm going to go ahead and repeat what I did with the watermelon one. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that greeting on there, little thanks. It's the same exact way I did, just across. Again, it's nice to be able to see through the clear mount stamps, and of course through photopolymer you really see through those. I like both. It just depends on what I'm using, what project I'm doing. I'll decide whether I want to use photopolymer or if I want to use the red rubber. So now I'm just adding a little bit of our lace trim. I thought about tying it a knot, but then I decided, no, I'm just going to staple it. I think it'll look fine. So I just hold it on there and staple it with our stapler. And now we're ready to start assembling. So now I've got my hearts. You'll see an extra striped heart there. I thought maybe I might use it. It's just got a little vellum punched out flower and a pearl, but I ended up not using it. If you were to look in the catalog, which I encourage you to do, is obviously study the catalog. You don't really see the bottom half of the card, so from the 2 hearts under the thank you, I'm kind of taking liberty on what I think should be at the bottom. And you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take some glue dots and put those in the back. I used glue dots instead of liquid glue because I prefer glue dots over liquid glue. The glue dots also, I think, would hold those hearts with the staples. I think they'd hold it really well. You, of course, if you'd prefer liquid glue, use liquid glue. I just think with the extra elements on them, I think just regular snail would be a little bit too lightweight for it. I think they needed a little more heavy-dutier adhesive, so that's why I like the glue dots. I could have used the fast fuse as well, but glue dots are easy, so that's why I used them. So this is a great card, just quick and easy. Switch out the hearts if you want, do balloons, or do a different kind of shape. This is a great design to just switch it up and do whatever comes to mind. And it's also a great card that if you want to make several of them, they really are quick and easy to make. And that's what some of the projects are intended for in the catalog, is to inspire you in that direction, to help you out. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.